Welcome everyone to Quiz Gents and to our special Christmas quiz. We will have an array of questions as usual, so take out your pen and paper, relax, and let's go. So we will, as always, start with some warm-up questions. This time, some film questions. So question 1, who has directed these films? A. Romeo and Juliet, B. Shawshank Redemption, C. Love Actually, there we got the Christmas part, and D. Citizen Kane. Give you a second or two to think about that one. And we'll move on to question 2. So question 2, rank these geological periods after age. So we're going to start with the youngest and then move back in time. So we got A, Triassic, B, Jurassic, C, Permian, D, Cambrian, and E, Devonian. So what is the right order of that? Youngest first. Give you a second or two. To question 3. Here we got Nobel Prize winners. So name these Nobel Prize winners. A, B, C, D, and E. We got 2 that are in literature. 1 is in peace, and 1 is in physics and chemistry, and 1 is in physics. Great, let's move on to question 4. And this, we're going to do a Christmas round. So these are all going to be questions connected to Christmas. So we'll start with question 4 then. Which famous scientist was born on Christmas Day in 1642? I think most of us probably know who that is, who studied physics. Cool, let's move on to question 5. Which pope assigned Christmas and Jesus' birth to be on December 25th? So Jesus wasn't actually born that day as people think. It was actually assigned by the church. So let's move on to question 6. When does the Russian Orthodox Church celebrate Christmas? So the Russians celebrate it a little differently. They celebrate it on another date. So which date do they celebrate Christmas? Moving on to question 7. So the original Rudolph reindeer did not actually have a red nose, since this was seen as an indicator of chronic alcoholism from the author. But can you name 2 of the other reindeers? There are a couple of them to choose from. But let's move on. Question 8. The astronaut William Anders photographed the Earth from the Moon's orbit on December 24th. What was the name of this picture? Very cool image. Great job, hopefully you got that. And we'll move on to question 9. It's a Wonderful Life is a very famous Christmas movie, but which actor plays the lead? I think many, and specifically America, watches this movie a lot. Cool, let's move on to the Music Rebus round. And this is where we take images and you got to find out which artist or which band hides behind these images. So we're going to do an example. So here we have the first picture is Ali G, and then we have a CIA agent, and then Keys. So it becomes Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys. So that's kind of the idea behind this part of the quiz. So first, so question 10, which band is hiding behind these pictures? Very famous band. Give you a second or two there. And we'll move on to question 11. Which band hides behind these images? Cool. See, let's move on to question 12. And which band hides behind these images. And abbreviations would be a good way to think about these, or the short for the name of the product and the city. Move on. So this part is called from one to the other. So I'm going to start with one question, and then step by step I'm going to through some like little twists and turns, come to the next question, and so on. But you'll get it as we move on, as we continue. Anyway, so question 13. Who is the actor that plays this character? Very beloved actor that many of you probably know. But the actor has a wife that is Swedish. And Sweden is trying to join NATO. But what does NATO stand for? So question 14, what does NATO stand for? NATO was created on the 4th of April in 1949. Though on the 4th of April 1968, Martin Luther King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis is also an archaeological place in Egypt, and the oldest name for it is Ineb Hedj. So question 15, what does Ineb Hedj, or the old name for Memphis, stand for? What does it actually mean? So is it A, the White Wall, B, the town of Pharaoh, or C, the White City? Memphis was founded by Menes, who also united the two kingdoms Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt. And contrary to what you may think, Upper Egypt is south of Lower Egypt since it follows the direction of the Nile and not north-south. The Nile originates from two places. One is Lake Tana in Tanzania, but which is the other one? So question 16, which lake does the Nile start from, except from Lake Tana? And that's the beginning of the White Nile, and Lake Tana starts with the Blue Nile, if I'm not mistaken. And they come together in Khartoum. Let's move on to question 17. And these parts are the random questions. And we're going to do a mixture of some questions here, see what happens. So question 17 is 1 out of 3. So one of the out of these answers is correct. Which answer is correct? Why are flamingos pink? They grow pink when they enter quote-unquote puberty. They get it from their food, or they're born that way. So why are flamingos pink? A, B, or C? Question 18, the idiot question. Fill in the blank in the following Snow White movie quote. Blank mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? I think anyone who has seen Snow White should know this. We'll move on to question 19. So here we have the IMDb question. And here we are taking a 1-star view from IMDb for a specific movie, and you have to figure out which movie this person does not like and what you're talking about. So the quote is, the movie portrays First Officer William Murdoch in a way that is totally contrary to the truth, but instead suits a particular propagandist position. This is both immoral and grossly hurtful to Murdoch's descendants. No wonder the Chinese government recommended the movie to their people. It amazes me how modern filmmakers, American filmmakers, seem to delight in tearing down the society and values they grew up in. This film is an insult to all those passengers and crew who showed such tremendous courage in the face of horrific death. In reality, it was not two 90s-style teenagers who were the heroes. Which famous film are they talking about? It's from the 90s, if that helps. So in the 1990s, of course. Moving on to question 20, which is an anagram. So there's a famous singer that hides here. First and last name. So both the first and last name is the words have been letters been jumbled together. So Silvery Sleep. So which famous singer hides behind these letters for these words? Okay, let's move on to question 21. Here we got 5 different actors. But what do these people have in common? That is the question. We have then first Frances McDormand, Ingrid Bergman, Jack Nicholson, Meryl Streep, and Daniel Day-Lewis, but what do they have in common? Great job. That was our final questions. Let's go for the answers. Okay, let's go through the answers. Question 1. Who has directed these films? Well, of course, we're starting with Romeo and Juliet, Baz Luhrmann. With Shawshank Redemption, Frank Darabont. We have then Love Actually, Richard Curtis, and Citizen Kane, Orson Welles. Good job to everyone who got that. Question 2. Then the order that's correct is then that Jurassic is the youngest. Then we have Triassic, Permian, Devonian, and the oldest is Cambrian or Cambrian. Question number 3. Number A is Bob Dylan. Then we got Hemingway, Enrico Fermi, Al Gore, and finally Marie Curie, who has 2 Nobel Prizes. Great, let's move on to question number 3, and this was the Christmas round. And it was, of course, Isaac Newton, who was born on Christmas Day in 1642. So he could have been Jesus, apparently. Anyway, question number 5. It was Pope Julius I who assigned Christmas and Jesus' birth to be on December 25th. Then it was January 7th when the Russian Orthodox Church celebrated Christmas. Question 6. And then question 7. The reindeers that you could have chosen from are Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Dooner, and Blixen. Good job if you got that. And then we have Earthrise is the name of the picture that was taken by William Anders. Question number 9 is, of course, James Stewart, who is the actor that plays the lead in It's a Wonderful Life. And then we got the music rebus, and we have, of course, the Beatles. That's the answer to this question. Moving on, we have Ram, and then a lot of ones, so Ramones. Good job if you got that. Pretty good wordplay. We're moving on to AC/DC. Of course, AC, and then we have Washington, D.C., so AC/DC. And then from one to the other, of course, it's Will Ferrell who plays the actor in Elf. And his Swedish wife in Sweden coming from NATO, which stands for the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. And then moving on towards Memphis, then we have, it's called the White Wall. Ineb Hedge is the name for that, the White Wall. So A. And then we have Lake Victoria is one of the other origins of the Nile. Moving on to the random questions. Why flamingos pink? They get it from their food. So B is the right answer to that question. And then we got the idiot question. So it's actually magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest of them all? It's not mirror, mirror on the wall. So you who wrote mirror, mirror, I'm sorry, but it's actually magic mirror. And if you look at the clips from the Snow White, you're going to see it says magic mirror. And it's Titanic this guy is talking about. That's the movie he does not like at all. And then we have Elvis Presley, who is hiding behind the word silver sleep. Good job about that. Then the last question. What do these people have in common? Well, they've all won 3 Oscars. Some of them have won 3 Oscars for main actor, and some have for supporting actor in combination. But all of them have won 3 actors. Great job. Thank you so much for listening, and hope to see you next time. Bye.